refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Yes, sir. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of RBO with your boy Vaughn. Sorry I wasn't here yesterday, fighting the cold, finally getting over it a little bit. You might hear it a little bit still, but we're here. We're here, man. We're here. Shout out to Lambo Anlo. That intro song, it just, if y'all can see me in the back, I just be grooving, moving, getting ready. But shout out to Lambo. He just had some new heat that he just dropped. Check him out for sure. His information is linked down low. Also, welcome again. I have something exciting to say. Today we will be talking about some WNBA. I did in the past say I want to start talking more about the WNBA, and today's the day to start. And we're going to continue to keep talking about the WNBA because them girls be balling, man. And I think everybody needs to know just how good they are. We had a debate. It was a big debate going around about how any professional male can beat any WNBA. Like the highest of the highest, the best of the best can lose to the lowest of the lowest pro male athlete. And I'm like, listen, guys, we get it. Men are stronger. Men can outmuscle most women. We get that. But we're talking about the skill of basketball. And when it comes to the skill of basketball, there's some women that are just simply more skilled than these men. And not just facts. But before we get started, can you like, subscribe, share this with anybody that's an NBA fan? Because we're going to dive into that NBA playoffs as well. We got 2 game 6s tonight that are very critical because it can either end the series or we can have an extension, which is very pivotal for the teams that are waiting because both teams have players that are dealing with injuries. So more time means more time to heal. Also, anyone that's a WNBA fan as well, ladies, males, anybody, just let them know. Vaughn here, and he gonna spit some knowledge for you. Also, download, click the link to become a member with the R2L family. We also have all the different shows linked down low for all the shows that are a part of the family as well, from boxing to baseball, to college sports as well. Carter recently, a couple of days ago, he just spoke about the top 5 hirings in college basketball. We had a lot of new coaches. Shout out to Mike Malone. Didn't make my boy list. I ain't mad. You know what I'm saying? You know. He got to show me something too. Also, shout out to Coach. He had an episode earlier today talking about the NFL schedule that just came out. Check them out as well. And that's all I have for the announcements. Let's just dive straight into the first topic. First topic, it's a WNBA topic. We're going to talk about the first 2 picks of the WNBA draft. They squared off last night. And that was Olivia Miles, who went second. She went to the Minnesota Lynx, which they pulled an OKC move, if you ask me. They had a number 2 pick, the Lynx. You know, the Lynx are one of the better teams in the league. And then we're going to talk about Ozzie Fudd, who went to the Dallas Wings, number 1 overall. it was a lot of speculation when it came to the number one pick. Ozzie Flood and Paige Beckers coming out, letting everyone know about their relationship, their togetherness. And a lot of people thought that was the reason why the Wings went and got her. But to be quite honest, it's quite understandable why they got her. You have Paige and you also have Ari over there, Arike over there. And both of those ladies are bucket getters. They got the ball in their hands and they make things happen. So it wouldn't make sense to draft an Olivia Miles, who I think personally was the best player in the draft. Because Olivia Miles is just the prototypical point guard that you need. She sees everything on the floor. I mean, if you've been following her like I have since high school, she's been a dimer baller all her life. She went to Notre Dame, then she transferred to TCU, and now she's in the WNBA. But let's first talk about Ozzie Flood. I think that the best part of her game, which everybody who knows about her, is her shooting ability. So it makes sense to pair her with a Paige and a Enrique because she can spot up, because most teams are going to have to double or they're going to have to put a lot of attention on those two ladies because they're bucket getters. So having her out there on the floor would just space the floor out, and it would give her opportunity just to make it rain. The only thing about that is she hasn't started yet. As a number one pick, you would think that she would start, which brings a lot of question to the pick. Like, okay, I did notice, they picked up two veteran bigs, 6'4", in the off season. So maybe they didn't want to go pick a Lauren Betts, who's 6'7", and it's just a bucket around the rim, and she can hit a little jumper. Or the young lady that came out of, I think she played in Spain. She's that Seattle went and got. They could have picked her up, but they chose to pick up Ozzie to pair with their two scorers, which I'm not mad at. You want to go veteran for your bigs, which, you need some veteran presence out there, and then you have a shooter. But she's not starting. Her first two games, well, she didn't play one game. I'm not sure why she didn't play. But her first game she only played 18 minutes, had 3 points, and she only hit 1 3, I believe. 1 from 2 from the three-point line. And then the second game, 20 minutes, she had 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 steal. So she hasn't really had an opportunity to really put her stamp on the game yet. It looks like she's still trying to adjust. I'm not sure what the coaches noticed, why she isn't starting yet, but hopefully she will start because I think she is one of the better shooters that we have seen come out the WNBA, like just period. Her shooting motion, her form, everything, it just looks butter. One thing I did notice, because she played 20 minutes, which is 2 more than the first game. She has solid defense. She played hard on defense. You notice that last game, they had her on Olivia a lot of times that she was in the game. And I thought she played some pretty good defense. Also, her ball handling is better than I expected. She hit Olivia with a nice, I think it was a in and out crossover and snatched her. So she has a lot of upside. And at first I was like, come on now, how y'all pass up on Olivia? But it makes sense. You don't just draft the best player. A lot of times you draft the best fit for your team. And that's what the Dallas Wings did. But Olivia has already been making noise. The Minnesota Lynx has a MVP caliber player who isn't playing. Big Fee is not playing right now due to an ankle injury that she got in the offseason. But Olivia in the game has still been propelling. Courtney Williams came out and said, I love having her out there. It pushes me back to my original position, which is the 2 guard. And they've been flourishing together. In her first 3 games, Olivia has just been dominating. She has stepped into the record books quite early. She's the 3rd player to average 10 points and 5 assists their first 3 starts. Only people that have done that was Candace Parker and Sue Bird. Now, that's elite company. If you know your WNBA, you know that's elite company. Shout out to Olivia. She's just everything that, I thought she would be. She's a gamer, baller. She can get her own bucket, and her vision. They got shooters out there. They got buckets out there. Natasha Howard dropped 24 last game. I'm not saying it's all because of Olivia, but when you have a point guard, it just makes the game a lot easier just for everybody. So shout out to Olivia, shout out to Ozzy. You know, they're both having two different starts to their careers, but I got faith in Ozzy. I think she will figure it out. She will find her way to get more minutes on the floor, whether it be, I'm not wishing injury on nobody, but you know, the injury or something happen and she gets pushed into the star lineup and makes the most of that, or she just keeps getting better and better and just finally makes her way there. So shout out to both of the ladies, the top two picks. I think they both are balling. And just shout out to the WNBA, man. I love watching the ladies play. I just think they play the game a little like, you know, it's not all about just athleticism and things of that nature. You know, you have to have some skill. You have to have some IQ out there. And I love watching their game. So shout out to the ladies, man. So all right, let's move on to the next topic. And we're going to talk about the Cavs and the Pistons game 6. Now, last game, the Cavs stole that game, if you ask me. Pistons were up late. You know, Tobias Harris hit the three, hit him with the bang, bang, you know, the fake mellow, and they didn't score after that. Now, in my opinion, the reason for that is K was just tired. K was just tired, bro. The dude played almost 50 minutes that game, you know, and I feel like without him having help, no one to really relieve him, you know, Dennis Jenkins, shout out to him. The kid, he's doing his thing. He's doing it. I think he got converted as a two-way player. So come on, man. You got guys like Jalen Duren out there, and shout out to Kenya Martin. I heard a video about, he said, you know, you're young and you're still trying to figure out your game, which is true. But the effort gotta be there. You gotta play hard, bro. You're the big man on the court, man. You can't have Paul Reed out there out producing you in less minutes. You can't. Like you gotta go hard at the end of the day. You know, you gotta rebound. If you can't score, at least get 10, 12 rebounds a game, 3 blocks. Give me some effort. You leaving Cade out there to dry. And if I'm a Pistons fan, you are literally the reason why we're not winning. Quite literally. You're the reason. Because if you dominated that last game, y'all would have won that game easily. Cade is clearly, in my opinion, I think he's the best player on the court, you know. Now, him having to do so much by himself, he does turn the ball over a lot. He does try to overcompensate at times, and that leads to bad decisions, bad shot taker. And I think he gets fatigued a lot. This game, he allowed Max Strus to get up in his bushes. I'm calling it what it is. He did drop 39, you know, but he let Max Strus get up in his bushes. Max Strus plucked him in OT, and I mean that was unacceptable, Cade. You can't have that happening, bro. So in OT, Cade only shot the ball 2 times, finishing with 2 points, and he had 1 turnover. In that same overtime, Donovan Mitchell went 3 for 3 for 7 points. And one of those points, I believe they were up. They were down 1. No, they were down 2. They were down 2. He hit the 3, put them up 2. And then Max Strus plucked Cade, and then he got another bucket off the fast break. So the Detroit Pistons, you know, me personally, I don't think they win tonight. I think the only way they can win tonight is if the Cavaliers fold. You know, if the James Harden that everybody's saying, you know, they don't trust him in the playoffs. If that guy shows up and he just flats out, don't show up, they got a shot. But the Cleveland Cavaliers haven't lost at home yet in the playoffs. So this Cleveland Cavalier team, I said this earlier. I said this is the best chance James Harden is going to have because this is probably the best team that he's been on in a while. And it's not just about the players. It's not about like, not saying, you know, because that Brooklyn team with Kyrie and KD, they got hurt. That's probably really the best team. But he has 2 solid bigs, and he has a wing beside him that can get buckets, and he has shooters around him. So I think this is the best team he's had that complements his game. Now, shout out to the network. I want to give a shout out to a show, Unfazed, with my bro Joe and AJ. You know, I watch a little bit of everybody's show. I try to catch. I sometimes I can't catch the whole thing, but I do what I can. You know what I'm saying? And on there, my boy AJ said he don't think nobody can see the Knicks. I disagree. I think this Cavs team matches up very, very well with the Knicks. The Knicks haven't played a defensive team really yet in the playoffs. You can say that the Sixers are a defensive team, but with Embiid out there, he don't move around enough for me. I'm sorry. He's a statue in my eyes, you know. The Cavs had to play Toronto and the Pistons. Both of those teams are better defensive teams than the Hawks and the Sixers, in my opinion. So I think that is going to be what my boy Bibby would say, a bloodbath. And I can't wait to see it. You know, that's if Harden don't Harden tonight. But as far as the Pistons, hey, man, y'all got to give my boy some help. Jaden Dern, you need to go sit yourself in a corner, look in the mirror, figure out what's going on with yourself, because this is unacceptable, bro. I got a lot of respect for you. You know, you a young cat still, so you can bounce back from this. But if you don't start tonight by bringing that effort and that fire, this offseason, you better take a long look in the mirror. Call Shaq up and say, Shaq, what I need to do. Because that's unacceptable, bro. But shout out again to Dennis Jenkins. He really earned my respect. I like his grit that he plays with, and he doesn't back down, man. That's one thing. Another player though, Asar Thompson. Love Asar Thompson. One of the better defenders that we probably gonna ever see in this game. The dude is just defensively, he can't do no wrong. But offensively, you gotta be able to do something out there, bro. That can be, you know, a little bit of coaching as well, because in my opinion, you know, you got to be able to bring the best out of your players. Asar Thompson, it's not like he can't do nothing on offense. He just can't really shoot. He can attack the basket. He can get some buckets going to the rim. You know, he's very athletic, just like his brother. And if you have sets that can allow him to do that, then maybe he can, you know, do a little more on the offensive end. I don't expect much more from Tobias Harris. I think Tobias Harris has played well enough this playoffs for them to win. He's not the reason they're not winning, in my opinion. Really quick, I wanted to put up the box score right quick from the last game. James Harden with the 30-piece. Evan Mobley. Shout out to Evan Mobley. You know, they had he had a reporter. He was talking to a reporter, and they showed he had a long gash on his face. Hey, he going to war out there. That's what I like to see from Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley stepped up big time for me these last two games. He hit that three at the end, and he just makes good decisions. You know, he's not just out there just to be out there. You know, at times, especially in the first two games, I felt like he was just out there. He's been inserting himself on the offensive side and the defensive side, and this shows in the play. Last game he had 19, 8, and 8. I mean, come on now, your big man getting 19, 8, and 8, and he had 3 blocks and 1 steal. He just stuffs the stat sheet. Shout out to him, and shout out to James Harden, and also Donovan Mitchell for sealing the deal. And we gotta give a huge shout out to Dean Wade and Max Strus. Max Strus played some good defense at the end. I can't even lie about that. But also, Cade, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, when y'all up, you gotta control the pace of the game. You can't trust everybody on the moments. You just can't. I know you're that guy that's a point guard. You're that guy that, you know what I'm saying, likes to get everybody involved. But sometimes it's Cade time. We're going to get this shot at this moment because this is what it's called for. All right? Shout out to that, though. Got a couple comments. Hello. Appreciate you for being on, for sure. We're going to slide on to the next game, the final game of the night, and that's the Timberwolves versus the Spurs. Man, I know everybody love them some Wemby right now. I like Wemby game too. You know the best thing I like about Wemby though? I like his competitiveness. I think that he is one of the most competitive players we've had in this game. And it's so beautiful that he's going against Ant-Man because he's also cut from the same cloth. I mean, you're getting some great basketball here between those two guys. Despite I said Ant-Bone, that's my boy. Ant-Man being hobbled out there. You know, he doesn't look hobbled, but come on, man. There's a couple times Ant be going to the cup. You like, why you ain't try to flush that? We know why. But the Spurs last game pretty much kind of dominated, you know, from the jump. And I think it's the reason why was they allow Wemby to set the tone. And when I say allow Wemby to set the tone, is they let him go one-on-one with Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert. Come on, man. When you watch the game, every time Ant-Man touched the ball, he had 2 Spurs on him. They was blitzing Ant-Man. He was before he even got to the 3-point line. They showing that they about to blitz. It was times when they showing they about to blitz. He'll throw the ball in the corner. I mean, he throw the ball to Julius Randle in the middle of the paint, and he'll just kick it off for 3, and they'll shoot the 3 and miss. You gotta attack the basket. Shout out to Ayo. Ayo went to the cup on Wemby, 2 hands. Bloop. He ain't dunk on him, but you gotta go like that's how you gotta go to the cup. You can't go to the cup soft. Naz Reid went to the basket, gave Wemby to the boom shoulder, threw him out of bounds. That's how you gotta play against this guy. You can't let Wemby set the tone. Because once Wemby set the tone, that Spurs team is deep. See, a lot of people want to throw Wemby in that MVP, but I feel like they discredit the team kind of. This man, when he's on the court, he has at least 2 ball handlers out there. And they're not just average ball handlers. Stephon Castle is a very good player. 2-way player at that. He's not the best shooter, but he's a really, really good player. So I'm gonna say this really fast too. You gotta respect what the Spurs did. They drafted Wemby. You know, they already been accumulating some decent first round picks. Vassell, Keldon Johnson, you know, and then you draft a guy like Wemby. What do you do after that? You pick up a veteran point guard and Chris Paul, and you let him play with Chris Paul a little bit. And then what happened? You draft a guy like Stephon Castle, and you also sign De'Aaron Fox, another veteran point guard. See, that's what you have to do when you have guys that 6'10", 6'9", 7 feet, 6'11", that can do it all. You don't want to hinder them by not having point guards or ball handlers around them and having them to do everything. See, Wemby doesn't have to do everything. All Wemby had to do is play his game because he has the ball handlers. He has the shooters out there. He has defenders out there. He has a little bit of everything out there, but backed by a good coaching system. Because after they lost, what happened? Popovich helped them out in a film session, and then they spanked them. They wiped them little babies. So when the coaching, so I just want to give a shout out to the Spurs for that. But back to the series, they doubling Ant-Man, but they're not doubling Wemby. Wemby at the top of the key. I don't know if you watch the game. I'm pretty sure you remember this early in the game. Wemby went down, hit him with the boom, boom. I think he spent, and then he went to the cup and got a bucket. Soon as he did this, boom, somebody's supposed to have been there. Because soon he spin, that's supposed to be a steal. You don't let Wemby cook. You can't let him cook, especially with a guy like Gobert out there. Rudy Gobert. I'm going to sit back for this one. You thought because you had a good series against Jokic, you thought that was enough? A lot of people said Jokic was hurt. A lot of people already know Jokic ain't the fastest. He's super skilled. We know that. This is your real test right here, brother. And you looking like trash. I mean, you have your moments. You gotta like be muscling him, get your offensive rebounds, dunking and stuff like that. But last game, you didn't. I ain't see not one good play you did. You missing wide open passes when dudes pass you the ball. You becoming a liability so much on offense that you're helping the Spurs because all Wemby has to do is sit by the rim with you and block everything coming because he know you're not doing nothing on the wing. And the fact that you missed the first 3 passes that we passed you, they stopped looking at you. Their best lineup is when they had Julius Randle and Naz Reid out there and not Rudy Gobert. And that's just the facts. Rudy Gobert is looking like he's unplayable. Trash. He got to do better. He got to be a factor on offense because guys are being aggressive driving. Jaden Daniels, he drives. Ayo, he drives. Ant-Man, he driving. But you're not ready, bro. It was one play, you set the pick and you roll. They threw you the ball. You like this. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I be feeling so sorry for Ant-Man. Julius Randle. Terrible game. Terrible. Let me go to your numbers very quick. Terrible. I mean, you the biggest dude on the court. I ain't talking about height because we know that's Wemby. I'm talking about size. Go to the basket. What are you doing? You out there shooting jumpers, bro. Trying to shoot little fadeaway middies and all that. You ain't Kobe. You ain't MJ, bro. Go to the basket. Force the issue. Like, I just don't get it. Soon when we come out the game, they want fake go to the basket. Well, I ain't gonna say they because JD McDaniels and Ayo was going all game. I ain't gonna lie. JD McDaniels, I love JD McDaniels and Ayo. Those 2 dudes play hard and they go hard. And that's what you need. Oh, let me go to Julius Randle stats from last game very quick, y'all, because he was terrible. Julius Randle last game. Oh, he picked it up at the end in garbage time. 6 from 17 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. He did finish with 10 rebounds, which a lot of the commentators at the end, they said it's good that he's trying to get going because he can build that momentum for the next game. So we're going to see how he acts today. Because if they doubling Ant-Man like they did last game, he has to take advantage. He has to. Because I like what Ayo did. I like what JD McDaniels did. They both came out and they played hard. And they attacked the basket. So I think those are the keys, really. The keys are don't let Wemby cook. Because once Wemby get to going, it's a wrap. Because he got a lot of good players around him. Ron Harper Jr., Dylan Harper, man. I told y'all. That boy nice. Everybody that watched him in college knew that, though. He a dog. The Spurs stole that. I mean, you know, some people say, does he have too much upside to be on the bench over there? So they say he might be the new Ginobili. I don't know. They got a squad over there, man. And you can't make too many mistakes on this team because they will make you pay. So I think what the Timberwolves have to do, they got to attack the basket. They're not the best three-ball shooting team. They just keep it 100. They're not. Ant-Man can hit 3. Devo ain't there. Bones Highland ain't going to get on the floor because he a defensive liability for real in this series. So coaching got to be better, man. You have to find a way to help Ant-Man out because they doubling him. And if he got the ball all the way out past the three-point line, he's not effective. Let him catch it in the mid post or something like that. So he can operate. And if they double, he's in a spot where if he passed the ball to somebody, and if they doubling him, their person is in a better spot to score. Because if Julius Randle catching the ball in the mid post and he passes it out for a 3 again, I'm gonna go to the basket, bro. Do something with it. That's what you want. You want to catch it in the middle. Man, Julius Randle gets me fired up because I fought for this dude at one point. And now look at him. Making me very, very upset. one team getting closed out today. Hey, I feel the same way. I if you've been watching earlier, I called out my closeout unless that player show up. I'm hoping this game can go 7 just because I want to see Ant-Man play a little bit longer. And I want OKC to get some rest because I want Jalen Williams to be healthy. I want both teams healthy when they play because I don't want no excuses. But we're going to see what happens, man. Can Chris coach better? Because the game plan was trash, in my opinion. You let Ant-Man get double and you're not helping him, man. You're not helping him. If you ain't going if they gonna double him like that, put Bones Highland out there. He gonna at least hit some threes. Like, you gotta do something, man. You gotta adjust. And I don't think he's doing a good job of that. Thank everybody for coming out and being with your boy. It was a wonderful show. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this, become a member. I will be back because real ballers, they always gonna ball.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.